Hi there everybody, this is David, and with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom quickly taking the gaming world by storm, it got me and my friend Alex thinking, what games actually play like Zelda? And we got together and we both came up with our own lists of JRPGs that play very similar to that titular game, that genre standard that kind of set the stage. It was like the very first action RPG after all, and then JRPGs kind of came in and some of them took that Zelda formula and kind of ran with it. So here I'm not going to be discussing full-on Zelda clones, but JRPGs, true JRPGs, that play just like Zelda. So be sure to watch this video and then my friend Backlog Battle Alex's video to get the full experience. And now let's dive on into some of these Hyrule likes. First up, Crystalis. Released for the NES, remade for the Game Boy Color, and added to the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection, released for the Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox, and PC. This here is really the game that started it all for me. Yeah, I had played Zelda first. I mean, back when we got our Nintendo, it pretty much came with Zelda, Duck Hunt, and Mario. And we all played Zelda together as a family. That was back in '87 though. In 1990, whenever Crystalis came out, I already knew the original Zelda like the back of my hand, and I was ready for some more, and Crystalis was there to provide it. And if there was one game that dominated Counselor's Corner, it was this one. I swear, it was just in about every single issue because people were so intrigued by it, and because it was just so hard. But every time that I saw it there, I loved it. I thought that the graphics looked amazing as did the gameplay, and honestly, I still do think that they hold up today. Taking place 100 years after the apocalypse back in, 1997, you're a young warrior who roams the world beating up baddies and going into a ton of different towns, while along the way picking up 4 elemental swords, which fire beams and can be powered up by rings and bracelets. You'll also purchase armor and items just like in a traditional RPG, gain stats whenever you level up, and learn a ton of magic spells. This game might look old to some of y'all, but believe me, it is the real deal and one of the best games I've ever played. Number 2. Final Fantasy Adventure. Released for the Game Boy and later remade as Sword of Mana for the Game Boy Advance and then remastered for the PS Vita as Adventure of Mana. Whenever I first played this, I really had no idea that it was actually part of the Mana series. In fact, Secret of Mana wasn't going to be coming out for another 2 years. But whenever I saw Final Fantasy on the cover, I knew I just had to have it. You've got the best of both worlds here. Falling off of a waterfall, that mana tree, the Sword of Mana obviously, and even chocobos. They're all here. Much like Zelda, this is a solitary adventure. However, various uncontrollable party members can join up with you, each with different abilities. Fighting battles nets you experience and gold, which you can use to buy items, weapons, and armor. And in probably one of the first instances of stat management ever, whenever you level up, you have a choice of where to put your stat points. Do you want to make your hero stronger, more sturdy, more magically inclined, or do you want to be able to use your limit breaks more? Your hero's growth is completely up to you. Then, in a really unique twist, you're going to gain all sorts of different weapons which have useful abilities like the flail that will allow you to cross poles, a sickle that you can use to cut down plants, and a morning star that you can bust down walls, just to name a few. This combines the best of early Zelda along with Square's innovations. Number 3. Ys Origin. Released for the Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox, Vita, and PC. While the Ys series began as kind of a Zelda clone but with an actual story, it has now definitely evolved into its own thing, spanning 9 mainline entries and a couple of spin-offs, with the modern ones even sporting party mechanics. But Link is a one-man kind of guy, so I want to talk about a solo adventure here. Origins takes place thousands of years before the first game, and is the only Ys entry not starring Adol, so it definitely has that Zelda vibe. Taking place entirely within Darm Tower, you might think the world would feel constricted, but it definitely doesn't. Each floor represents a different geographical biome, and you have a choice of 2 different protagonists, each with 2 different gameplay styles, and if you beat the game with them, you get to play as yet a 3rd hero. Fascinatingly, all these stories play out concurrently with one another, so you've really got to play through this 3 full times to fully understand the story. But believe me, my friend, it is completely worth it. And each playthrough only lasts about 5 to 7 hours or so so it really is manageable. And with different playstyles consisting of Unika's axes and Hugo's magic, it is just as varied as the story. Number 4. Secret of Evermore, released for the SNES. Imagine if Link had a loyal canine companion by his side. Well, that's exactly what you're going to get in this game. It is one of the few Square titles that was exclusively released in America and not in Japan. Whenever it was initially released, I actually mistook it as a sequel to Secret of Mana, but little did I know that it has its own unique charm. In this game, you assume the role of a boy who's whisked away to the magical land of Evermore, and that land is divided into 4 distinct time periods: Prehistorica, a land of dinosaurs; Antiquia, an ancient Roman-inspired land; Gothica, a medieval European-themed realm; and Omnitopia, a futuristic world. What sets this game apart is its alchemy system. Instead of merely learning spells, you acquire alchemy formulas that you can cast using different ingredients that you find or purchase from shops. Additionally, man's best friend can sniff out hidden alchemy ingredients. I personally love discovering and experimenting with all the various hidden formulas, trying them out, and witnessing the effects that they produce. It's just a unique, whimsical take on an old classic formula. And with number 5, get ready for a special treat, as I'll be discussing not just one game, but 3! The entire Heaven and Earth trilogy released on the SNES, that is Soul Blazer, Terranigma, and Illusion of Gaia. And let's go ahead and begin with the first game, Soul Blazer, which is a standard beat-em-up where the world has been sealed away, and your mission is to defeat the monsters and gradually revive humanity. Things are then taken up a notch in Illusion of Gaia, though, because here you're going to be traveling through a real-life-inspired world, visiting locations like the Great Wall of China, Angkor Wat, and the lost continent of Mu. Accompanied by your group of friends, Will is a gifted flautist with telekinetic powers who can manipulate objects, solve puzzles, read people's minds, and even transform into different warriors. Now, let's dive into Terranigma, the final installment of this trilogy. Here, you play as Ark, adventuring through the underworld, where you release the sealed continents of the upper world. However, in the process, your own town and people become crystallized. Undeterred, though, you embark on a journey through the real world, gradually reviving plants, animals, and ultimately humanity itself. The whole thing is loosely connected, but each game stands out as one of the best on the SNES. Number 6, Threads of Fate, released for the PlayStation. Continuing with our theme of multiple protagonists and hidden gems from Square, we have Threads of Fate, and let me tell you, this one's a real treat. Here you can choose between 2 protagonists, Rue, a kind-hearted amnesiac boy who seeks to revive his best friend, and Mint, a banished, power-hungry princess who wants to conquer the world. As you can imagine, they have completely different storylines, and more importantly, completely different playstyles. Rue uses an axe as a primary weapon, and he has a unique ability to actually transform into the monsters that he encounters. But Mint, on the other hand, relies on magical rings as her weapons, and instead of transforming into monsters, she can actually cast various magical spells, kind of like a blue mage. The contrast between the two makes the game so interesting and fun. Then, there's the unique storytelling approach, because Rue's storyline is like a positive, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed typical JRPG protagonist, but Mint is much more of a take no prisoners bitch on wheels. Personally, you gotta give it over to Mint. I love a good bitch who knows what she wants. And finally, number 7, Nayuta Boundless Trails, released for the PSP and to be remastered for the Switch, PS4, and PC this fall. While this one hasn't been officially released yet by Falcom, there is a translation patch available for the PSP version, but patience is a virtue, and if you wait just a little tiny bit, you're going to be treated to the full remake and official translation of this fantastic game later on. Starring Nayuta, Toa's grandfather, this is a bangin' action RPG where, like many Zelda games, you have a hub town, but the bulk of the action takes place in Lost Heaven, which consists of 4 different seasonally themed areas. With multiple stages each, this is a side-scrolling action fun, kinda similar to that Black Sheep Link's Adventure. Hey now, I never said which Zelda-likes these games are imitating. They can imitate any Zelda I want them to. But this one's beautiful. It's so fun as you gain different traversal abilities to go back to prior stages and unlock different areas that you missed the first time around. And it's super satisfying to defeat the various bosses and gain new magical abilities for your fairy companion Noi. It's really just a shame that instead of getting this and the Crossbow games for the PSP, we got those craptastic Gag Harvest Trilogy games instead. So that's it for 7 JRPGs that play just like Zelda. That said, there are plenty more JRPGs that play like Zelda out there, and Backlog Battle Alex has a list of 7 more games that you might want to check out. Click on the video up top to head on over there and see their list. And if you like this video and want to cheer on the channel, please consider following me over on Twitter, supporting me on Patreon for exclusive videos and early access to my content, heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, or coming on over to my Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them all can be found in the video description. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.